Hello, and welcome to Historical Humans Reads, where we take primary sources and bring them to your screen. I'm Colum Coleman, and today we are reading from Erasmus' In Praise of Folly. Originally composed in Latin in 1509, In Praise of Folly is a theological essay that broke with traditionally accepted concepts of morality and piety in favor for the now common adage, ignorance is bliss. Despite the overtly political nature of the work, In Praise of Folly was originally written not to spark debates, but to amuse Sir Thomas More, a fellow philosophical writer and friend of Erasmus. Today we will be reading the opening lines of In Praise of Folly. With that, let's begin. In Praise of Folly, an oration of feigned matter, spoken by Folly in her own person. At what rate soever the world talks of me, for I am not ignorant of what an ill report folly has got, even among the most foolish, yet that I am that she, that only she, whose deity recreates both gods and men, even this is a sufficient argument, that I no sooner stepped up to speak this to this full assembly then all your faces put on a kind of new and unwonted pleasantness. So suddenly have you cleared your brows, and with so frolic and hearty a laughter given me your applause, that in truth as many of you as I behold on every side of me seem to me no less than Homer's gods, drunk with nectar and nepenthe, whereas before you sat as lumpish and as pensive as if you had come from consulting an oracle. And as it usually happens when the sun begins to show his beams, or when after a sharp winter the spring breathes afresh on the earth, all things immediately get a new face, new color, and recover, as it were, a certain kind of youth again. In like manner, by but beholding me, you have in an instant gotten another kind of countenance. And so what the otherwise great rhetoricians, with their tedious and long-studied orations, can hardly effect, to wit, to remove the trouble of the mind, I have done it all at once with my single look. But if you ask me why I appear before you in this strange dress, be pleased to lend me your ears, and I'll tell you. Not those ears, I mean, you carry to church, but abroad with you, such as you are wont to prick up to jugglers, fools, and buffoons, and such as our friend Midas once gave to Pan. For I am disposed a while to play the sophist with you, not of their sort who nowadays boozle young men's heads with certain empty notions and curious trifles, yet teach them nothing but a more than warmish obstinacy of scolding, but I'll imitate those ancients who, that they might be the better avoid that infamous appellation of sophi, or the wise choose rather to be called sophists. Their business was to celebrate the praises of the gods and valiant men, and the like encomium shall you hear from me, but neither of Hercules nor Solon, but my own dear self, that is to say, Folly. Nor do I esteem such a rush that call it a foolish and insolent thing to praise oneself. Be it as foolish as they would make it, so they confess it proper. And what can be more than that folly but her own trumpet? For who can set me out better than myself, unless perhaps I could be better known to another than to myself? Though, yet I think it somewhat more modest than the general practice of our nobles and wise men who, throwing away all shame, hire some flattering orator or lying poet from whose mouth they may hear their praises, that is to say, mere lies, and yet, composing themselves with a seeming modesty, spread out their peacock's plumes and erect their crests, while this impudent flatterer equals a man of nothing to the gods, and proposes him as an absolute pattern of all virtue that's wholly a stranger to it, sets out a pitiful jay in others' feathers, washes the blackamoor white, and lastly swells a gnat to an elephant. In short, I will follow the old proverb that says, he may lawfully praise himself that lives far from neighbors. Though, by the way, I cannot but wonder at the ingratitude, shall I say, or negligence of men who, notwithstanding they honor me in the first place, and are willing enough to confess my bounty, yet not one of them for these so many ages has there been who in some thankful oration has set out the praises of folly, when yet there has not wanted them whose elaborate endeavors have extolled tyrants, augus, plays, baldness, and other such pests of nature to their own loss of time and sleep. And now you shall hear from me a plain, exemplary speech, but so much the truer. Nor would I have you think it like the rest of orators, made for the ostentation of wit. For these, as you know, when they have been beating their heads some 30 years about an oration, and at last perhaps produce somewhat that was never their own, shall yet swear they composed it in 3 days, and that too for diversion, whereas I ever liked it best to speak whatever came out first. But let none of you expect from me that after the manner of rhetoricians, I should go about to define what I am, much less use any division, for I hold it equally unlucky to circumscribe her whose deity is universal, or to make the least division in that worship about which everything is so generally agreed. Or to what purpose, think you, should I describe myself when I am here, present before you, and you behold me speaking? For I am, as you see, that true and only giver of wealth whom the Greeks call moria, the Latins stultitia, and our plain English folly. Or what need was there to have said so much, as if my very looks were not sufficient to inform you who I am? Or if any man, mistaking me for wisdom, could not at first sight convince himself by my face the true index of my mind, I am no counterfeit, nor do I carry one thing in my looks and another in my breast. No, I am in every respect so like myself that neither can they disassemble me who arrogate themselves to the appearance of title and wisdom, and walk like asses in scarlet hoods. Through all their hypocrisy, Midas's ears would discover their master. A most ungrateful generation of men, that when they are wholly given up to my party, are yet publicly ashamed of the name, as taking it for a reproach. For which cause, since in truth they are morotatoi, fools, and yet would appear to the world to be wise men and thales, we'll even call them morosophos, wise fools. This has been an excerpt from In Praise of Folly on Historical Humans Reads. If you enjoyed the video and would like to hear more excerpts from original texts, please subscribe to be notified of the next one. If there is a work you would like to hear, be sure to like the video and leave a comment listing it below. Thank you for listening.